Okay, coming up now, we have Shefali. Shefali is joining us. Oh, I don't see it here. Hold on. She's joining us from India. And today she's going to be, she's known as an astro psychic life coach. She's going to teach you some simple Vatsu Shastra tips to find peace, balance in your home, to improve health, wealth, and luck. It's like Feng Shui. I had to look it up because I didn't know what this was. So this is like the Indian version of Feng Shui. It's architecture and a little bit of astrology and things like that. So I'm really interested to hear this because I love Feng Shui. I took it myself. I'm actually a consultant. Some point in my life, I learned that. Let me take a quick look at your bio. Let me get to your bio. Give me 1 second. Okay, Shefali operates a global Astro Life Coaching Brand under the name AstroVruksh By Shefali. She's a spiritualist and believes in humanity, love, and helping the human race. She believes in karma theory and totally respects love from every soul who's transitioning through their journey of life. She's an empath, tarot reader, astro stream expert. I think you also do palm reading. She was fortunate to help more than 60,000 people through her live online tarot sessions during COVID. So she does tarot, tarot numerology, AstroTarot, astro numerology, astro Numero, Palmistry, AstroVatsu, crystal Vatsu, crystal and gem therapy. So she's available today until about 5 o'clock. So thank you for being with us again. Go ahead, Shefali.
Thanks, Terry. Hi, everyone. So this is Shefali, and I'm an Astro Life Coach. So by Astro Life Coach, I mean I help you guys to plan your life mindfully with the help of astro psychic sciences. Now, these astro psychic sciences could be astrology. Like I am a practitioner of Vedic astrology, Krishnamurti astrology. I also practice numerology, palmistry, tarot, Vatsu Shastra, and AstroVatsu, crystal therapy, and multiple other modalities. Today, I'm going to speak about Vastu Shastra. Vastu Shastra is, yes, it is very much like Feng Shui, but it has a root much before Feng Shui was introduced in China. So I would like to share a presentation. Shari, do you suggest me to share it, or I'll just present it and I'll refer to the presentation? Okay, I'll just try to share the screen if at all. Yeah, we can. So I hope you guys can see it. So basically, Vastu Shastra is, yes, Indian version of Feng Shui. I won't put it as Indian version of Feng Shui, but because Vastu Shastra has its origin from Vedic times. So it's older than we can imagine. Feng Shui has its past 3,000 years before and all. But Vastu Shastra is much beyond that. And in fact, Feng Shui has its origin from Vastu Shastra as per whatever readings I have done. And they both have similarities and differences in it, in both the sciences. And I'll go through it as we go through the journey today. So what is Vastu Shastra?
Well, hold
Vastu
on,
Shastra,
please.
you want
Okay.
me to present or yeah?
First, we can see your whole screen, so you might want to collapse your panel on the side. We only see the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Close off the left screen.
That is?
No.
How do?
We're seeing your whole PowerPoint. We're seeing your left screen, your slides, your panels.
Just go to presentation view.
Actually, this is a PDF file, so I'm not very sure if I can go to the presentation view.
Just click on the left arrow key. Yeah, left, top left. It says it's a downward arrow. Just click on that.
Next to the dots.
Left from the start.
Next to the dots.
Yeah. Okay. Single page.
Yes. Do that. No.
Hide sidebar.
Hide slide bar. Hide slide bar. Click
Hide
on
slide
that.
bar. There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and also your
Yeah.
sound is a little loud. It's kind of echoey a little bit.
Okay. Now it's better. It's better.
Keep talking.
Now it's better.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So we'll start with what is Vatsu Shastra. I'm just going to give you a snapshot here. We are not going to speak about it in detail, but yes, I want to establish a difference and establish the subject as such. So Vastu Shastra is the science of spaces, as against Feng Shui, which is the science which helps us to balance the energies of the geography. Vastu helps us to balance the energies of the nature and the elements of nature. Now, Vastu Shastra is what has been used by our ancestors from India and Vedic times to plan not only their buildings and houses, but also to plan their temples, to plan their towns and cities. And Vastu for a palace used to be different. Vastu Shastra for a temple used to be different. Vastu Shastra for a common man used to be different. So a particular house of a common man will be designed differently as against the palace, as against the design of a temple, because every institute or every Vastu's energy is different. Temple needs different energy. Temple needs the divine energy to be circulated and more powerful. Palace needs the power, energy of power. The fire element has to be more powerful in a palace. Air element has to be more powerful. Sky element has to be more powerful when you're designing the palace, as against a common man who is a follower of a particular king. That person needs to be subdued, or that person needs to be under the king. So accordingly, his house, his shop, his residences, his city will be designed differently. So that all these details have been followed in the principles of Vastu Shastra. So it's a very, very detailed out science, and it has been, people have really got good experience of designing the architecture, designing the Vastu, designing the building, designing the premise across the ages. And there has been a proof that yes, it works. So yes, it works. And it has its reference in Atharva Veda. So we have our Vedas in Hindu culture, and it is as old as Atharva Veda. Of course, there is not a direct mention of residential Vastu or a commercial Vastu, but there is a mention of a cosmic and spiritual backdrop of Vastu, that is the placement of a particular cosmic placement that is followed in a particular cosmic presentation, that is very much evident and written in Atharva Vedas. Vishwakarma was the main person who actually was divinely guided to form the principles of Vastu Shastra for human civilization. Now, human civilization included temples, it included palaces, it included common man's village or a town or a city. So all the principles were different depending on the need of an individual, depending upon the need of a society, and depending upon the authority and power that is needed in a particular for a particular society, societal status, or a particular societal need. So Vastu for different people is different. Vastu Shastra for different people is different. Vastu Shastra for different needs is different. So there are different principles which you can use in permutation and combination, and accordingly guide a person to balance the energies of these elements. So what is the basic premise of Vastu Shastra? I'll come to that first. The basic premise of Vastu Shastra is our universe, our nature is a combination of 5 elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, sky. And when these 5 elements interact with each other, we beings are actually interacting with the nature. So Vastu Shastra is all about balancing these 5 elements so that we can actually live pleasant and a serene life. Because when these elements are imbalanced, we end up experiencing imbalance in our energy field, not only in our environmental field, or in our residential field, or in our commercial field, but also in our body environmental field. Even when exterior nature is interacting with us, if it is not in tandem or in alignment with our physical nature or our emotional nature or our mental nature, we might experience blockages in our internal Vastu system also, in what I term as chakras. So if your external Vastu is defective and it is creating issues in terms of energy flow, it can impact your internal Vastu system, and it can in turn impact your mood swings, your relationships, your health, your career decisions, your financial abundance, and otherwise. So Vastu Shastra helps us to actually manage and align these 5 elements of nature in tandem with our bodily 5 elements, and thus trying to create a consensus and thus trying to create an alignment so that we can actually live a mindful life and a complete and a serene life. Now, what is the basic premise of Vastu Shastra? We take a Vastu, that is, Vastu is a space. So if we are considering a space, say a open plot of land, or maybe a residential complex, maybe a flat, maybe a bungalow, maybe a commercial complex, we take the map of that particular place, we divide it into mandalas, and we divide it into mandalas and Brahmastan. And the entire map is divided into multiple padas. Padas are the subsets of these mandalas. So I'll just show you one example over here. This diagram, if you guys can see, this is a Vastu mandala of a particular place where we are dividing a particular space into north, south, east, and west, and then further dividing it into the padas. Now, these padas, which you can see, they all have their own devtas, that is God, and these all gods have their own functions to perform, and they so a particular thing, like for example, a door has to be in a particular pada. The toilet has to be in a particular pada. The worship place has to be in a particular pada, so that you can get the maximum benefit of that particular function. So, for example, if you are worshipping God, we say that God has to be worshipped. If you're worshipping God, God is the energy, the divine energy, the maximum divine energy or divine connectivity can be attained when you're keeping your deities or your God, or when you're worshipping looking at northeast, because that is the immediate connectivity to our divine authorities. If you are doing some work which is a heavy metallic work, you should ideally choose your south of a particular place to keep those heavy metals and heavy articles, so that it is subdued. Their impact or their negativity doesn't impact your day-to-day routine. If you are doing some intellectual work, you should sit in the facing north, or you should sit facing northeast or even east, because east is a creative area. East is the area which represents fire. North is the area which represents air. South is the area which represents earth. Water is represented by west. So there are multiple elements, and Brahmastan represents sky element. So all these multiple elements are in permutation and combination studied, and accordingly a particular place is designed, accordingly a particular place is mapped, so that you get minimum obstruction when you're conducting your day-to-day activities. Now, will this design be same for a palace and a common man's house? No. The common man's house will be a person, the common man is a person who has to do work for his daily living. He doesn't have to think smart strategies or economic strategies or things which are needed to plan for a bigger purpose or a higher purpose. In that case, their house designs will be different. House design of a palace or a Vastu design of a palace would be much, much complex, much, much detailed, and much, much driven towards the fire sign, towards the fire element, air element, and towards divine intuitive element. So All these things are to be considered while actually studying a Vastu, while if you plan for a business Vastu or a business commercial complex, what is it that you need there? You don't go and sleep there, right? To work there. So your air element has to be active, your fire element has to be active. So the design has to be such that it keeps the activation of fire element in a positive zone, of course, not in a negative zone. So all these things are considered while designing a Vastu mandala and while actually construction. Now, what happens is most of the time, so you can see this figure, right? This figure is called as a Vastu Purush. He's said to be a god of a Vastu. So we are a very mythological people in India, and we believe that every pada is ruled by a god, and God has their own characteristics and features. The way we talk about angels, we talk about gods. Uh, Everybody has their features, and every feature is important as well as it can have its scope of work as well as it can have its limitations. So you have to consider all this while designing a door, while designing a gallery, while designing a bedroom of the karta person, that is a person who is leading the family, while designing kitchen has to be in the southeast zone mostly, because in southeast zone we are creating energy. It's a fire element zone. We are creating energy and we are giving food to people. So we are creating that fire energy into a material energy, and that is consumed by us to generate energy further as a human being. So all these small things are taken into consideration. And this Vastu Purush is supposed to be taking care of a Vastu. So we always believe that Vastu Purush should not be upset. So we have to take care that in our Vastu, our vibrations are maintained, our vibrations, positive vibrations are retained. We talk good things in Vastu. Otherwise, Vastu Purush is saying Tathastu, that is, whatever you say will happen. So if you want good things to happen to you, you have to say good things so that Vastu Purush blesses you, or that energy or that vibration blesses you to make things happier, positive, serene, and blissful in that particular Vastu, so that you attract more of abundance, more of life, more of energy, more of love in the house. So Vastu Shastra is a science or a myth? Of course, it is a science, and it's not a myth because it has been practiced since years and ages in India. And most of the bigger forts, palaces, and even some parliament spaces are made basis the Vastu Shastra principles. You guys have heard of Indus Valley civilization, and all those civilizations were very well defined and planned as per the Vastus. Where should be the drainage system? How should be what should be placed behind? Whether there should be some weight when you are sleeping, whether you should sleep under the pillow, what should be the position of your bed, what should be your sleeping position. All these basic small things, we might feel that they are so petty, but yes, they matter. They impact our day-to-day living, and in turn, they impact our energy level, our thinking patterns, and our choices in life. Thus, it doesn't help us to live mindfully if we don't consider Vastu as one of the important parts of our consideration. Now, is it practical? Now, here we are talking about Feng Shui and Vastu Shastra, but before that, I would like to touch on the topic. Is it practical to design every house, every residence, every commercial complex as per Vastu? I would say yes, because now people are aware of this, and that is my agenda, to make people more aware. And I'm sure there are multiple other people in the fraternity who are doing this job really well. Some houses, of course, who are already built without Vastu knowledge or without Feng Shui knowledge, those houses can be corrected. We can do some minimum remedies to try to, bring about the balance. But honestly, if you build your houses as per Vastu, if you maintain your houses as per Vastu Shastra principles and rules, you can really see the magic and the difference in the energy that can be, noticed after actually doing the remedy. Now, as Sherry mentioned, Vastu Shastra and Feng Shui are very close to each other. They are like, I would say, I don't want to compare to, but then I would say that they both have their own area of premise. Now, Feng Shui as the word literally means, it's a combination of air and water. It works around air and water as a primary element, but of course, it considers wood, earth, fire, metal as other elements also while considering the study, or while, uh, considering the remedies for Feng Shui study. Now, I am not an expert on Feng Shui, so I won't be the right person to talk about it. But yes, when I go to compare it with Vastu, as I studied a bit, because I wanted to understand the similarities and differences, there are certain basic similarities and certain basic differences. So what are the similarities? They both are meant to bring about elemental alignment, and thereby to bring about a serenity, peace, and happiness in the life of an individual. They both are following certain colors, certain symbolism. They are following certain elements to correct the defects, if at all we find any defects in the Vastu. So even Feng Shui is treating Vastu, right? Though Vastu Shastra is also teaching a Vastu, Feng Shui is also teaching a Vastu, which means space. So what are the differences? Feng Shui is majorly based on the geographical need. Now, Feng Shui was modified by Chinese people to suit their needs. Now, for us, for India, South is a very negative location, because we say that Yam Devta is located in South. So basically, if something is located in South, it needs to be heavy. Only then it kills the negative energy that is coming from South. But South might not be a very negative location for China. So yes, Feng Shui is using little different principles, even to suit their need, their geographies, and their requirements as an individual, as a citizen of a particular geography. So though the principles, can you replicate Feng Shui across the globe? Honestly, I'm not the right person to comment, but can you replicate Vastu Shastra across the globe? Yes, very much, because it is based on the basic 5 elements and its interaction with, with us as individuals, humans, and of course, other living beings. We use trees for remedies. We use multiple other things, metals for remedies, crystals for remedies, along with Vastu to correct the Vastu defects. So yes, Vastu Shastra can be used across the globe. It can be used in US, Australia, UK. Of course, after studying the little geographical limitations, as well as the need and limitations of an individual, Vastu can be actually connected across the geography. So the difference between Vastu Shastra and Feng Shui primarily is their way of approach. Their way of approach bases the geography. Vastu Shastra considers elements, which are 5 elements of nature, which try to help us to align with our own self, our own mindfulness, our own emotions, our own relationships, our own health, and thus try to bring about the balance. Now, is it applicable to different eras? Yes, of course, because it has proven even today, all the Vastu principles are very, very relevant, which are being followed since Vedic times. So yes, it is very much relevant across the generations. Basic principles remain same. So across the geographies, it is relevant as long as we are aligning it with the, with certain necessities which an individual has, and certain belief systems which the individual has, because beliefs are different from region to region. So you need to accommodate those beliefs, because humans are very sensitive animals. And of course, I call them animals because we are very sensitive individuals, and we have certain belief systems. And if we work in tandem with the belief system as well as science, we can actually create a magic and manifest things for us. So is it applicable, Vastu Shastra, is it applicable for individuals? Yes, of course, it is applicable for individuals. However, one should analyze it basis the case to case. Now, one Vastu which is auspicious for one individual may or may not be auspicious for another individual. Now, that is a very good insight which we get when we study astrology and Vastu Shastra together. So I will be talking about multimodality approach. In that, I'll explain you how astrology and Vastu Shastra can get us into detailing of the individual need aspect of Vastu. So before that, I would quickly like to talk about how Vastu can lead to imbalances. Defect in Vastu can lead to fights in your family. It can lead to as bad situation as divorces. It could lead to separation. It could lead to issues like childbirth. Basically, your solar plexus chakra can get really negatively affected if your bedroom is in southeast. If the bedroom of a main couple is in southeast, there will be fights, there will be divorces, and automatically the stress increases, solar plexus chakra imbalances, sacral chakra imbalances, and then there could be issues with the childbirth. One of the reasons, okay? There will be multiple other issues which might crop up. If there is a drainage problem in the southeast area, there is a drainage or a leakage problem, then you might be experiencing some depression issues, anxiety issues. So basically your Akash Tattva is, that is your sky Tattva is imbalanced. So there are multiple other small things which need to be looked after. So thereby your health can be impacted. You can face constant fatigue. You can face, if there is a wave, that is if you have any particular tree planted which is wrongly planted in a wrong location, which is shadowing your house, it can lead to a depressive environment, not just because of the shadow, but because of the energy every tree is emitting. Now every tree has its energy. Every tree has, some trees have an a very extensive power, like a people tree as we call it. I don't know what we call it in oak tree. I'm sure people are aware. Ashoka tree. These trees are supposed to be very auspicious in cleansing the aura, because in the cleansing the Vastu of an individual, as well as cleansing the Vastu of a particular residential area or a particular commercial area, because they have the power to clear the negativity. So even if you have to take care of your health, which trees are to be planted in which direction? Suppose Tulsi tree is to be planted in the north direction, it gives maximum benefit. Or Ashoka tree is to be planted in a particular direction, which will give maximum benefit. So all these things, many things, but very major impact they can cause in your day-to-day energy flow around you as well as near you. So which can impact your health, your thought process, your emotional cycles, your mental cycles, your career decisions. That is the choices that you make. If you're balanced, you can make balanced choices. If you're not balanced in your mind, you can make conflicting choices. You can have problems of indecision. You can attract negative energies, wrong energies towards you. So all these things are very sensitive things which can be caused because of the imbalance in the Vastu energies. How can Vastu energies be balanced? Quick things, these are broader things which I'm saying. It's by construction changes, most likely construction changes, but every time it's not practical to do construction changes. And in that case, we can do some minimum changes by aesthetical changes. So suppose particular cupboard is in a particular location and it is not supposed to be in that location. If it is in north and south location and it is in the lighter, north is supposed to be the lightest direction. But if you are keeping your cupboard in the north direction, metal cupboard or otherwise, whichever cupboard which is a heavy material cupboard in the north direction, your abundance is blocked. If you have a toilet or a leakage in the north direction, your abundance, your financial drainage is very evident. So all these small things, at least if you can make some changes over there, even then you can correct the energies of Vastu. You can suggest the symbolic remedies like keeping a happy man, which generally we do in Feng Shui. You can keep different Ganesh Murti, or you can keep a horse picture and all those things. Yeah. Am I exceeding time?
Yeah, yes. So time's up.
Okay. It's just over. This is last slide. So all these things you have to really take care so that your Vastu's energies are balanced. Now, Vastu can really do magic and wonders with multiple other modalities. Vastu with astrology can help you in deeper analysis of what Vastu will suit which individual and which will create a magic in the life of a particular individual, or how it can impact negatively to a particular individual if there is a defect in the chart, or if if the Vastu Kundali and a person's Kundali is not matching. Vastu along with tarot can help us to study the energy of the Vastu, along with tarot as well as pendulum can help us to study the energy of the Vastu and help in correction of the Vastu energy. Along with crystals, again, if we use crystals to heal Vastu, to empower Vastu wherever it is needed. Vastu with essential oils and symbolism, we do use aroma oils, color therapy, and symbolism to correct the Vastu defects, to amplify the Vastu, the balance in the energy of the Vastu. So that is, these are some quick things which I have told you. Of course, there is much more detailing to this, but Vastu Shastra can actually create a magic and wonders if you are handling it tactfully, mindfully, and resourcefully. And you can minimize the cost also depending upon the need of the client. So that is what my insight was about Vastu Shastra. And I hope more and more people can experience it, at least AstroVatsu, which can be, which is a service which can be taken through Zoom session, because even if you're staying abroad, I can quickly help you and guide you with what could be the possible defects that you're facing, if at all you're facing, because of Vastu issues. So yeah, that's the quick presentation. I hope it's connected well. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can't wait to listen to it later. The beautiful thing is with a live transcription and closed caption, we can read it now as well as later. So you can actually repurpose what you just wrote. You know, we can read word for word what you said, despite any accent or what you missed. It's pretty cool. So everybody, she is joining us from India. It is early in the morning for her. She will be available for speed readings, and I don't know if you're available for appointments after that, or you're going to be going to sleep, but she joins us every month. And you can find her on the website, as well as all her information is right here in the chat. We posted it for you.